Okay, guys, we are going to go ahead and jump in. I want to again thank you guys for joining us today. We are going to go into our PS info session here in a minute. Just want to remind you all to keep yourselves muted unless you have a question. We'll definitely give you plenty of opportunities to ask questions as we go through this next hour and a half. Feel free to keep your cameras on or off. I would love to always get to know you guys a little bit better, see your lovely faces. But obviously, in this new virtual world, we want to make sure that we're engaging you guys as much as possible, but also using this time to answer any and all questions that you might have. So, myself and some of our team members who are here today will be answering questions in the chat and also answering questions on video. So, if you have any questions, definitely let us know. We're really eager to give you all the answers that you need. So, I do want to just start by introducing myself. My name is Yara Suki, and I am the director of the Program for Excellence in Selling. And although I wish I could see all of you face to face, I have you guys and your faces here on one monitor and the slide deck here on another. But I'm looking very forward to getting to know all of you a little bit more. So over this time, we are going to kind of kick off with some team introductions. We've got a few of our team members here on the call today. An overview of our institute. So obviously you guys are here to learn about the Program for Excellence in Selling, but we also want to tell you a little bit about our history, what we do to help support students like yourself and the greater sales community. And then we're going to go into a more detailed look of the curriculum. So some of you may know, some of you may not, but that's what the info sessions here are about. But we want to tell you about the classes and kind of a breakdown for you if you are to decide to apply to PES. And then some really fun stuff. Obviously, everyone's going to college because they want to get a job, but they want to make some money after they're done here. Or maybe they just have that competitive spirit. So we're going to talk a little bit about all of those and all of those exciting opportunities. So we're going to go ahead and get started with team introductions. So to get to know our team, we're going to tell you a little bit our name, our majors, or what we studied, some of our background and expertise. We've got some of our staff and one of our faculty members here with us today. Why we joined PES, maybe even our favorite memories in PES. So to kick us off, I'm going to jump right in. So my name is Yara. I graduated back in 2015 from U of H, where I studied marketing and management. And I joined PES because I felt like I needed a place to belong. I felt like all I kept hearing was, you need to be well-rounded, you need to get a job. And I was like, well, I don't know where to do that. So I finally kind of stumbled upon PES and decided to apply kind of on a whim. That was 6 years ago, and I'm still around. So I guess you could say I drank the Kool-Aid, but I did decide to come on full-time back in 2017 to help students like yourselves get the careers, the experience, whatever it is that you wanted to do well in the program to help you succeed after you graduated. And my favorite memory in PES is probably, well, I felt like the program was really special to me. And so when I actually got married after graduation, I actually had some of my PES professors come attend my wedding. And so for me, that was like a really special memory, a really special moment that I got to share with I call this my PES family. So that's a tiny little bit about myself. So I know I see Mai's camera's on, so we're gonna turn it over to Mai to introduce herself next.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited that you guys can come join us tonight. I hope everyone's well and safe. So my name is Mai Vang, and I'm the Sales Management Assistant Program Manager here. And I am majoring in Supply Chain and Marketing. And I graduated from PES last spring. And so I decided as a career path to join the family One reason why I joined PES in the first place was I had no idea what it was all about. I saw like the 98% job placement. And so I decided to go to this info session and I was like, wow, I learned a lot. And I'm originally from Minnesota. And so, like, when I heard a lot of stories about the PS family, I felt like I was missing a part of me and my family. So then I ended up like joining PES and I had a fantastic journey here. One of my favorite memory in PES is it's the golf open. I was really able to connect with different partners of ours, and as well as meet like the greatest family and friends I ever met. So that's my favorite memory. I see Craig is on here. You want to go next?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So my name's Craig McAndrews. I'm actually a professor in the PES program. There's a chance if any of you are in 3337 online, you might actually be in my class this semester. I'm not sure because it is online. I never get to see anybody. So I don't have a major from U of H, but I am a marketing major. Graduated a number of years ago. Actually, that I'm new to PES as a faculty member. I've been with the program for, been teaching at the university for coming up on just past 2 years now. And oddly enough, the way I found the university and what goes on at the university was through the PES program. I was working at a company here in town, and the PES students in a key account class came to call on our company. And they were so good at their sales presentation and their interaction, actually better than most of the sales professionals who had been calling on us in our company, that I picked up the phone and wanted to know who these people were, where they were from, and who was teaching them all these great skills. And it was through that I met the other faculty members and then had a chance to join now and be part of the program. I teach first semester's advanced professional selling. I also teach our second semester digital selling, and then each fall I get to teach sales for social impact. And then I also get the joy of coaching our sales competition teams. And so I get to be involved in a number of things with the program. Actually, my favorite memory, which I hadn't even thought about this, Yar, until you put it up on the slide, it was a year ago when our Sales for Social Impact class actually went to Minnesota to present our project to 3M, to a room full of 3M executives at their company. Our team won first place in the presentation contest, which that in and of itself was cool. But the team won an additional $8,000 for the nonprofit that we had been working with. And when we called the nonprofit to tell them the team won them another $8,000 for their organization, our contact there started to cry on the phone for the difference that the money can make. And that was a life-changing thing that I'll never forget, that experience. It was a ton of fun.
Great, glad to hear it. And then last but not least, James.
Of course. All right. So yeah, my name is James Clancy. I am the Customer Relationship Management Assistant Program Manager, or you'll referred to as CRM, like Salesforce. And my major is in marketing, and I'm doing a minor in sales. I joined PES actually because when I was at the Bauer Career Fair, the lovely APM at the time kind of jumped out in front of me and sort of was like, "Hey, have you ever heard of PES?" And I said, "Yeah, but I'm not really thinking about it." And then I realized I knew some people in it, and I heard such great things about it. And I saw the level of excellence that the students really had. And I really do mean that word. Like, I'm not just saying that because it's in the name, but just the professionalism and poise that the students had. And I from that moment, I wanted that. And so that's what convinced me to join. And that leads to my favorite memory in PES, which there's a lot. But the best thing about PES for me was the familial aspect of it. It really is like a school inside of a school. So it's so much of a community, and especially if you guys, for some of you, if you're interested in eventually making it to the key accounts class, a lot of the memories that I have with my key account team are some of the greatest college memories I've had to this day. So yeah, it's really just a special thing what kind of culture and environment is here.
Okay, great. And so we are going to jump right in. We are going to do a little bit of an overview, and James is going to actually take it away over here.
Yeah, of course. So way back in the 90s, the chair the chair of marketing and entrepreneurship department, he noticed that most Bauer students were the ones that were graduating were getting sales jobs. However, he noticed that UH didn't even offer a sales class at the time. So he wanted to give these business UH students the education experience they needed to really bump up their resumes and bump up their sales skills before going into sales, because he noticed most of them were doing that anyway. So in 1996, PES was created. And in 2004, that's when the Sales Excellence Institute was created. And you'll often hear that referred to as SEI. But that is the Sales Excellence Institute, which now encompasses PES as a part of the 3 pillars of the Institute, which are research, executive education, and degree programs. The research is led by Dr. Michael Ahern. I'm sure some of you have either taken his class or heard of him. And he has a team of PhDs who partner with Fortune 500 companies to assess their sales organizations and identify any areas that need improvement. So they go out to real companies and they do heavy research on them to then fill those gaps they find in these real companies with the second pillar, which is executive education. So that's a big name for that pillar, but it's really the solutions range from open enrollment courses for companies to send leaders to, or custom education programs that we've done for huge companies like 3M and even Mattress Firm and other companies of that size. So it's and even the Houston Independent School District. So it's big organizations down to really small organizations as well. And then the last pillar is degree programs. We are the only Tier 1 university in the country that offers a PhD, MBA, and undergraduate curriculum. The undergraduate students go through the program for excellence in selling, as you guys know, and it is one of the oldest and largest programs in the nation. It is also the only sales program that requires the students to sell a real product and carry a real quota in every class. And if the students don't meet that quota, they do not graduate.
So to build off of what James said, pretty much we've got the leading research in the world coming out of our institute when it comes to sales and sales management, right? Then we take that research and we teach it to our students like you guys. And then the same thing we teach you guys, professionals and companies come and pay the big bucks to learn as professionals much later in their careers. I'm sure Craig can attest to this because he just made a comment about how these undergraduate students were doing so well that he was so surprised. But we oftentimes have people who are embarrassed to say that there are undergraduate students who probably know the profession of sales better than they do, and they've been working in the profession for a while. And so that's something that we're really proud of. Maybe not making them feel like we're smarter than them, although maybe we are, but taking the time to give you guys that background and that knowledge to help you go into the workplace and already be 10 steps ahead of the competition and of other people that you're vying for these positions against. Okay, before we move on, I want to also take a second to let one of our other teammates, Rod, who obviously we have some technical difficulties every time, but Rod got stuck after he registered. But Rod is here. Want to introduce yourself, Rod?
Yeah, for sure. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. So, hi guys, my name is Rod Kolpitan. I'm a TA here at the Sales Excellence Institute. So I'm currently the TA for Marketing 30 through 37. So if you're taking Professor Gulo, Professor Vandeveer, Novak, or Professor McAndrews, so I'm one of the TAs for their classes. I'm currently a marketing major, and I do graduate at the end of this semester. I joined PES about a year and a half ago. So I actually took Professor McAndrews' Marketing 30 through 37 class And prior to that, it was my first semester transferring to U of H, so I was completely new to everything that had to do with U of H. So towards the middle of the class, I specifically remember New Lee and Yara speaking in front of our class, and I actually joined one of the info sessions, and it's just been a whirlwind and a whole adventure. That year and a half has passed fairly quickly. I've pretty much gone through every class in the program except for one class, which I believe is SSI, or Selling for Social Impact. And the reason why I joined PES was prior to going to college, I kind of had an unconventional route. Going to college, I actually worked for 4 years right after high school, and I worked in sales for 2 of those years. And moving up in the company that I worked at, I realized that for me to move up in any company in a corporate setting, you need a college degree. So I decided to go back to school. And when I found out about the sales program, that really motivated me to refine my skills, because I saw myself having a career in sales. And one of my favorite memories in PES was the PES golf tournament in our first semester. We put in such a crazy amount of work coming and leading up to that event. And remember specifically eating like breakfast tacos like at 5 a.m, setting up for the golf tournament. And besides that, it's just been a whole adventure. If you have any questions about PES, I'm pretty much an open book. If you're taking the marketing 37 class right now, my information is on the syllabus as well. So you can pretty much hit me up, or you can hit up my Calendly calendar as well. We can set up a meeting if you want to learn more about PES.
And Rod is being quite modest because he was the top producer 2 semesters in a row for 2 separate classes. And he pretty much came in like beast mode, and also won quite a few scholarships because of that. Okay, glad to have you, Rod. Okay.
Sure.
All right, I guess I'll come back and take it from here. Yeah, definitely Rod was being modest about that, you guys. He's an absolute stud, and don't ever let him tell you that he's not. Also, that last slide, I probably didn't do as much justice as I could have. It's usually the one that our very special professor, Professor Webb, covers, and he used to be the VP of M&Ms at Mars. So a lot more color he can add to that slide for sure. But for this one's a really special one because this is what PES is all about, right? The students. So the students in PES, we always say that we can teach the students, like for instance, my role is CRM. I help Yara teach the CRM class with Professor Herman, and we can teach you guys all about Salesforce, all about customer relationship management and those technical skills, and same with the other classes. But the great thing about PES students is that they're motivated, they're hardworking, they're coachable, and they're passionate. So we can teach you guys all these things, but it's the people who bring these qualities and characteristics. For those that I spoke with at the career fair, I recognize some of your names. A couple of you guys asked, what are some things that you guys look for in candidates, right? In applicants. These are some of the things that we look for. And these are some of the things that, anyone can have, but you've got to have them, and you got to have them to the core. And then we'll teach you from there. And we'd love to have you at that point.
So we said that it's all about the students, and we want to make sure that this is a two-way thing. So we're going to actually take a few minutes here. I want to get to know you guys. There's, I guess, almost 25 of you or so on the call. So drop in the chat. I'd love to hear, what are your majors? Even feel free to unmute yourself if you're feeling bold and you want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
As in now, or?
Sure, yeah. Hi, John. Nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet y'all as well. So I'm majoring in liberal studies, but it's a triple minor. So I'm minoring in Spanish, Italian, and hopefully sales.
So triple minor equals triple threat out in the marketplace. Is that the idea there?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, great. Okay, so I see some answers coming in the chat. Finance, biochem, pre-business, MIS marketing, mechanical engineering. Okay, wow, awesome. Great representation all
Hi.
over the
Oh,
place. Hi, Laura.
I'm actually in McAndrew's class, so I want to say hi. And I'm actually a pre-business major.
Hey, well,
Hey y'all, my name's Candace and I'm a marketing major.
hi, Candace. Nice to meet you. Accounting, economics. Oh, that's so great. What a great group. Matthew, you are a transfer student marketing major at Bauer. Welcome to U of H. Anyone else, I guess, transferred maybe your first or second semester here at Bauer? Got a couple maybe?
I transferred to U of H about 2 years ago.
Yes.
Great. How do you like it?
A lot better.
Glad to hear it. Freshman pre-business, and this is your first semester. Welcome, Abdullah. So nice to have you. Okay, well, good. Let's move on to the next question. Why were you guys interested in PES? Something beyond perhaps just my emails got you here today. So I'm curious to hear from anybody why you guys decided to join.
You can go if
They
you like.
were really good emails, so if it was that, don't be afraid to say it.
Yes, I proofread twice.
So I joined, I'm interested in PS because like every student that I've met that has been part of the PS program are very, very passionate and hardworking. And I really like the way that they capture an audience and they're able to engage somebody in a conversation. I think that's like the biggest thing.
We are very engaging. Actually, I make the joke that how do you think my husband and I got engaged? We're so engaging. It doesn't always land well, but I think it's a good joke.
I like it.
I can go. I am interested in PES because I want to, I guess, develop the soft skills necessary. So I'm not really interested in like a career in sales. I'm more here for attaining the skills. So I think it'd
Which,
be
by the way, is a very good reason to apply to and join PES. I, for one, was like, yeah, I definitely don't want to do sales at all. I want to be a well-rounded candidate when I graduate, and that was pretty much all I wanted. And then the more I learned about sales, I was like, yeah, I really don't know that it's for me. It looks like it's hard. And then people, maybe like myself, maybe like others, they'll change their mind and actually be like, no, I'm all in, I'm bought into sales, but some don't. And we're here for everyone. We think the skill set applies no matter what you want to study and what you want to do. Okay, let's see. Friends in PES. Great. Who are your friends in PES, Laura? I don't hear you, Laura, but it seemed obvious to you, Matthew, to learn about PES with Professor McAndrews. I think he jumped off the call. So how awful is he? No, I'm just kidding. Great. Love to hear that you guys are interested. Oh, some people know Akil and James. James, our very own famous James. Anyone else want to tell us why they're interested in PES?
Yeah, I can go next.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, I'm sorry I don't have my camera on, but
You're good.
initially one of my brother's best friends, he was part of PES, and he was the first one to introduce me to the program, and he actually got me in contact with Director John Pingle, and I had the opportunity to actually go and sit down and talk to him about the program. He told me about all the benefits and how great the program is, and it really sounded interesting, so I'm here today to learn more about it as well.
Good. I love to hear it. I love to hear it. Who was did you say your brother's friend?
Yeah,
or your friend's brother?
My brother's best friend, yeah. His name was Pedro Ott.
Okay, yeah, we know. Oh yeah, he's famous around these parts. Well, good. We're so happy that you guys, whatever your interest in joining PES, whether it was friends or skill sets, we're happy that you found your way here today. Okay, last question I've got. Doesn't mean this is where the conversation stops, but how did you hear about PES? Definitely a few of you said friends. So curious, out of the non-Bauer students, or your majors outside of the college here, how did you guys find out about us? Bauer's website, Love to hear it.
My Uber yesterday was a PES student, and he told me that he was in PES and went to an internship, and like the stuff he learned in PES helped him out a lot, and he was like a lot. He said he was well off, like compared to the other people there, because
How
of the stuff he learned in
crazy. What
PES.
a small world, Ryan. Do you remember your Uber driver's name?
Um, yes, his name was Bruno.
Oh, yeah. I
Bruno.
remember Bruno.
Mhm.
Yeah, wow. What a small world.
Yep.
Okay. Professor Vandeveer brought it up in class. Yes. Well, so for those of you who are mentioning that you're in Professor McAndrews or Professor Vandeveer's or Gullo's 3337 class, you guys are in the prerequisite class, so love to hear it. Okay, perfect. So let's jump on in. So now we're going to talk a little bit about curriculum. We have, oh, let me see. Great, love your answer, Pamela, in the chat. So we're going to talk a little bit about the curriculum in the program. So we clearly have a lot of Bauer students and a lot of non-Bauer students here. So I want to make sure that I break it down really clearly for you guys so that you are familiar with what the options are and what the structure would look like for you guys. So I'm going to start first with the Bauer students. So for those of you who are marketing, management, MIS, finance, all of the Bauer majors, it's really quite straightforward. So you have Marketing 3336, Introduction to Marketing, which is required part of your curriculum, and Marketing 3337, Professional Selling, which is also required as part of your curriculum. The professional selling class, and you'll see it on the screen here under prerequisite, that is the one prerequisite to be able to apply and join the program. And you do have to get a B- or above in that class to do it. Once you apply to the program, you will have the option to then do a minor or a certificate. It's a very important distinction when it comes to advising and kind of the back end, but when it comes to being in PES, they are the exact same and the exact same experience. So what it means to get a certificate means that you are using these upper, electives towards your major. So any one of your Bauer degree plans will have a section where it says advanced electives, advanced business electives, or general electives and stuff like that. So you can have the PES classes contribute to those electives, and that would be your certificate. Or you can get the minor, and the minor means that you have to take electives that fulfill your major and PES separately. So essentially, you can't double dip. They can't count for your major and your minor. So that's pretty straightforward. You can take Marketing 3336 at any point between now and graduation. It doesn't have to be before PES. However, with professional selling, you do have to take that and complete with a B- or above before your first semester in the program. Now for non-Bauer students, I have a little bit of a different way that I have to explain it to you guys. So one, to get the minor, which is really the option that most people take. However, again, PES is the same whether you do the minor or the certificate. You would take Marketing 3336, Professional Selling, and then Marketing 3337 outside of your core PES classes. So with the Professional Selling class, again, you have to take that before you join and are accepted into the program. Marketing 3336, Introduction to Marketing, you only need to do that if you want to get the minor, and that would be available to you once you've declared the minor, right? So the system's going to say, hey, you're not a Bauer student, you can't take this class until you work with advising to declare the minor, at which point that would be available to you. The only difference between the minor and the certificate for non-Bauer students is that Introduction to Marketing class. So if you opt not to take that class, then you'll complete a certificate in sales. So it's really up to you, whatever you want to be able to put on your resume at the end of the experience. But ultimately, that's the structure. Now, James and Mai are going to kind of break down the actual classes, but you'll notice here that it's 2 semesters. Our program is 5 core classes that you're responsible for, right? All 3, advanced professional selling, customer relationship management, and personal branding, will be taken in your first semester, and those are offered every fall and every spring. And then in your second semester, you're required to take sales management and digital sales. And then we'll talk a little bit about some of the optional coursework. You do have to get a B- or above in all of these classes to return and then to later graduate from the program. So now we're going to kind of dig in and talk about the classes one by one. And I see we've got a couple questions in the chat. So as you have questions, drop them in the chat, and James, and myself will take some time to answer those for you.
Yeah, let's do it. So this slide can seem a little long, but we really want to make sure that you guys get an understanding and really know exactly what these classes could offer you in terms of the skills you gain, and as also the workload as well, because that's an important part when you guys decide on the classes you take, right? So after you guys apply and get in, fingers crossed, the first semester is where Yar and I will see you guys the most. And that's going to be in our customer relationship management class. So the 3 classes that come in the first semester are, as you can see, advanced professional selling, customer relationship management, and personal branding. So to begin, advanced professional selling is the class that's taught. Professor McAndrews teaches one of the sessions of this class. And essentially it teaches you all about spin selling, which is the methodology we use here in PES. Cold calling, you get to, I don't know if you guys have seen these nifty little jackets, probably have. Yeah. These jackets, you get them when you get admitted into the program, but really what they're there for is you have to go find a mentor. Just somewhere out there in the professional world, someone you admire, doesn't have to be in sales, but you get them to essentially sponsor your jacket. So, and it's a part of the grade for the class as well. So if you aren't able to find a sponsor for your jacket, you won't pass the class. That's the quota for the class where you see that $250 there. That is the grade where you can show the ability to gain that mentor for that $250 and sell your nifty jacket that you get. So that's the first class. Next is where Yar and I would see you, and that's customer relationship management, otherwise known as CRM. So if you've ever heard of the company called Salesforce or Microsoft Dynamics, I know you guys probably never heard of those before, barely seen them. But it's this really cool tool and that a lot of sales organizations in the real world use. And so we teach you guys about it before you're able to go out there and kill it in the real world. So, and then in this class, we get to teach you all about selling the golf tournament. This is where that $800 comes in. There's actually a quota of $800 and 4 players for the tournament. Yes, even in these unfortunate times, we are still having the tournament. We found ways that we can do it safely. And we're still gunning to get the students to scholarships and to get people involved in PES and come out. So that's the class where we help you guys sell the golf tournament, and you really get to test your skills with cold calling and reaching out to networks and just building a bigger client base for PES.
We actually already have over 100 players confirmed for the tournament, and the students have only been selling for 3 weeks, which I think is hella exciting.
Huge. Yeah. And it's always fun because it's a competition every semester. For the semester who was in that class the semester before, there's always some banter going back. We could sell more than they could. And we definitely challenge you guys to do that as well. This is a program where we really encourage people to be competitive and to have a drive, right? Not necessarily needed, but sales is one area you can do that in pretty much to the max. It's uncapped in a way. So personal branding. This is and I'm sure some of you have heard of this class. This is a phenomenal class taught by Professor Vanderveer. And it's pretty much everything you need to know about building a personal brand, establishing your core values, finding out your why, if you've ever heard that before, interviews. It's just pretty much sharpening the saw, or sharpening the blade, is where you guys really get honed in as professionals and just as individuals in general. So there's a lot to offer in this class, and there's a really cool assignment at the end of it that we actually have a little video for you guys, I believe.
Yes, we do. So I am going to switch over to YouTube, and I know that we talk a lot here, so we thought it would be fun to show you guys a couple videos. So the first one we will show you is a little behind the scenes look at the golf tournament and how that experience is, because that's your big project for the first semester in the customer relationship management class. And then the second video will be actually a personal branding winner. Let's see.
So the PES Open is hosted by our sales students every semester. It is one of the largest charity golf tournaments in Houston.
So the golf tournament is very unique in the sense that there are 64 individuals who are selling and promoting the tournament to golfers and companies and businesses to either sponsor or participate through golf. And it's through our own personal pipelines in our personal life, as well as in industries that we want to go into. For example, I had hotels come out. It's my major, it's what I'm interested in.
This charity golf tournament is to raise money for a sales program for students who wants to be salesmen like me.
All of the proceeds go back to the program when it comes to the different events that we host, like our graduation and award ceremony, and overall it benefits the students academically. So our program requires our students to do real life selling, so they actually are doing monetary transactions, and it prepares them for the real world and make sure that if they go into a sales position or if they're out selling an idea to their boss or the company, they're prepared for that.
Basically with the tournament, the biggest thing about that is you get rejected. You get rejected countless times, but that teaches you the persistence and the resilience that you have to endure in order for any career. I mean, you're gonna get told no. It's just a matter of how you're able to recover and what you're able to do with that failure and turn it into a success. I mean, obviously we had a pretty big success here. It's a great turnout this year.
At first, when I started this program, I had trouble cold calling people because I was like, I should just email them first. But I saw like no results from that, so I just started picking up the phone and started calling people, and then people actually responded. Throughout this program, I learned the sales process and getting out of your comfort zone. You can never be comfortable, because if you're comfortable, you're not really improving yourself. And I want to thank you everyone who came out and supported me and helped me secure all-time sales in the golf tournament. I really appreciate everything everyone did for me.
So I think the thing I most benefited from selling the golf tournament was following up and really making sure your clients are happy throughout the tournament. I made sure to be there right when they arrived, checked on them in the middle of the day, and then walked them to their cars at the end of the day. So making sure you keep that relationship throughout the entire, even after the sale, to make sure that they come back in the following year.
I think we're all competitive natured. I mean, from day one, we were all saying that we were going to break records. And of course, you know, the first week or so, it's all talk, but we really got involved.
Well, we were the record-breaking class. So that was a very cool experience to kind of see that in the last week. And I think for the program to be able to give us such a real life experience, to be able to say to future employers, you know, I was part of this sales team that exceeded quota and broke records, and it wasn't just simply selling popcorn. Like, we had over 700 people at this golf tournament, and it was only sold by 64 students. So it's kind of like in a real world, you have your office and everyone comes together to sell your product or your service. And so seeing how different ideas and different people, how they function in their work and how in their sales strategy, to come together in one big event with one common goal.
I think mainly it's just the drive. It's how bad you want it. I mean, do you really want it? And We wanted it, so we brought it.
Today was great. We actually came out, we enjoyed a beautiful day of golf. We were able to bring out clients. We were able to experience what students were experiencing in the past when we were going through the program. We really enjoyed supporting the program and talking to students, and also introducing ourselves and kind of giving them a snapshot of what we went through.
It's been a lot of fun. I love it. It's so much fun to come out here, see familiar faces, and watch people grow just as much as I grew in the program. So
this was actually my first tournament, but it definitely won't be my last.
So that is the PES Open. It's definitely something that we all look forward to. Unfortunately, we had to cancel it last semester because of the worldwide pandemic, but we've made some big changes this semester, so we're excited to welcome back a lot of great people and supporters. Now we are going to watch. So James alluded to, at the end of your personal branding class, we all have this really fun project where you get to build your own website or video that you can use to kind of promote yourself as a prospect for an employer, to help kind of explain who you are and what your values are. Actually, a shout out to Mai, because when she was in this class, she won this award. And so that was 2 semesters ago. And last semester, we're gonna watch the student's video. He also is a videographer, so this is a very nicely done video, as was Mai's. So we're excited to...
Throughout my life, 3 things have remained consistent, and they are what define me and my journey: courage, compassion, and creativity. My name is Ali Asher, and this is my story. It was a rainy Friday in Karachi, Pakistan, where I was born on July 24th, 1998. While growing up, I fell in love with cars and became known as the car nerd at my middle school. So like any other 8-year-old would do, I capitalized on it. During class, I would make these intricate and imaginative car sketches and sell them to my classmates for a portion of their pocket money. Around the same time, my father started his own IT company, and I was fascinated by the corporate world. It seemed like a bad idea at the time though, because we lost our only source of income, and the only thing we were able to afford were government benefits, because they're free. I believe I get most of my qualities from my parents, and this is where courage came from. I saw the perseverance in his eyes, and a few years later, things got better, and the business flourished. My parents always said their children are going to change the world for the better, and I found my purpose and my calling to the land of opportunities. A few years later, it took a lot of courage and countless tears, but I got on the plane with one reason: to change the world and make my parents proud. Well, 2 reasons, but who's counting? When I landed in Houston, I spent my first semester doing what introverts do best: being alone. I had a lot of free time, so I would learn these Adobe softwares, and ironically, I got my first job as a videographer. And 5 months in, I made my first friend. Things started to get better, and I was leading organizations and conducting workshops. I became creative director for Cougar Creative, where we worked with small to mid-sized Houston businesses and nonprofits and created an online market presence for them. I absolutely loved creating an impact on people. In January of this year, I wanted to help people with social anxiety who couldn't make friends. I gathered a few of my friends, and we hosted a gathering for people who were socially outcast and misfits, essentially people like me. We played games and talked, and everybody went back with new friendships. It was great, but I knew I wanted to create an impact on a larger scale, and that's when I applied for PES. I knew if I wanted to fulfill my dream and be a part of this corporate world, I would have to go out of my comfort zone and start networking. As it turned out, I won the first champion of the week, finished in top 10% of my class for selling the golf tournament, and was second highest in the number of activities. More important than the golf tournament, however, I found the nicest group of people who taught me a new definition of teamwork and increased my network. So win-win. My journey has just started, but all these experiences have taught me that I can always include fancy quotes about life in my video, but why don't I rather show you? I look forward to finding opportunities to continue my strive for success and connect with you and your organization. My name is Ali Asher, and I'm going to change the world. Would you be a part of it?
So that, at a high level, is your first semester in the program. So I'm going to take a second. Does anyone have any questions, want to unmute themselves and ask?
About the application, but
Okay, about the applications, I know you guys got those questions, which makes me excited because that means you guys are planning to apply. If we don't have any other questions then about the first semester, then hold that thought, John, and we'll come back to it after we talk about the second semester in the program, okay?
All right. Thanks for the shout out, guys. It was really a hard project of mine, but Ali did an amazing job as well. So congrats to him. So I'm going to talk to you guys about the second semester. So if you do get above a B plus in our first semester, you move on and hit our quotas, you move on to our second semester. So in the sales management course, that's where I work alongside with our marketing and communications team. And we also, that class is taught by our executive director, Professor Webb. He's the one that James had said before, he was a VP of Mars. So that class is very engaging, and he has like the best stories. So anybody can back me up, but he does.
Yes, he does.
So that class really shows like the difference between a sales leader position and a sales manager. So also with that being said, we also talk about the career fair. So we have a $1,000 quota in that class, and that's just basically telling our career fair that we're open to all majors in the University of Houston. And last semester, well, let me go backward. Usually we hold that career fair at the Hilton here, but because of virtual, we're now doing a virtual platform. And during an in-person career fair, we have around 400 to 500 students there. But last semester, we actually got 600 to 700 students that came to our virtual career fair. So that's really amazing to us, because it's like, that's a huge impact. And like, can you imagine how many students that is just in one platform? And so
shameless plug also, our upcoming sales career fair is November 5th at 3 p.m. And so you can find some information about that on our website to join the virtual event. But that's also a great way to see what our second semester students are selling and what Mai is working so hard to perfect this semester.
Yes, it's a huge project. I'm so excited for it. So then I'm going to move on to our digital sales class. So this is part of our second pillar, which talks about the executive education. And this goes in and explaining a lot, and you'll learn a lot about digital selling and how you build your digital brand. So a lot of times we're selling, we act as in a BDR role. So you're talking to sales leaderships in the industry, from all industries, and they come in, and as Yara mentioned earlier, we teach those professional executives how to either time management, for some examples, virtual sales, and how to advance in CRM. So in this class, you have a unique quota. You're selling a sales qualified lead. So that's basically a seat in one of our in our executive class courses, and they do get a certificate out of this course as well.
So you get your B minuses and above in all 5 of these classes, and you are then awarded your certificate in sales or your minor in sales. Now, James is going to talk a little bit about those electives, but I do want to make a couple notes here that you kind of take these as they are. You don't get to really manage and swap and move around these classes. So in your first semester, you're taking 3 classes, and in your second, you're taking 2. So the expectation is that 2 semesters back to back, you would be able to commit to these 5 classes. And then if you are interested in taking your PES experience and education to the next level, that's where these other electives come in.
Yeah, definitely. And these other electives are just as special, I mean, sometimes if not more special than the actual courses themselves. For instance, as Maya alluded to earlier, she is currently taking the Sales for Social Impact class, which is an amazing class. Also, Professor McAndrews is the professor for that class. And Maya, definitely feel free to interject if I miss anything or if you want to add any color. But I mean, she could tell you guys it's an amazing class where you get to help really make an impact in the world with nonprofits, helping build a business plan for them, and presenting the plan at the end of the semester to I believe, Maya, is it still 3M?
Yes, it's still 3M.
Okay, yeah. So you present your business plan for this nonprofit and your results to 3M, and they can award that nonprofit with sort of like an endowment or a, I guess
it's funds for their organization, and I can talk a little bit more about that. You get to be you work on this project throughout the whole class. You build this business plan, and you are competing against other schools just like us that are in this social impact, social sales and social impact course. And then 3M, you'll present it to 3M's professional executives, and they pick one of the teams to win. In the last 2 years, we've been winning our last 2 years. So hopefully this year we win again, because as you know, PES has a name for it. So we have to live up to our name.
Maya, I don't know if you actually know this, but U of H, so when they made that class a competition across, so other universities have sales for social impact classes, U of H won so many times, they decided to stop making it a competition. And then they thought it got boring, so they made it a competition again, and then U of H won again. So just saying, we're pretty cool.
Yeah, so that class is a big fan favorite for those second semester students that want to do a little more outside of the PES classes themselves. And then that's also goes the same for selling financial services, which is a once a week class that is taught by the sort of newly hired, I guess, professor.
Adjunct faculty, yeah.
Yeah, adjunct faculty professor Daniel Garbarino, who is I forget his position, but he's a leader at State Farm, and he helps teach this class. We learn about the book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. If you guys have ever heard that, it's a great book. Highly recommend reading, unless you want to wait until the class to read it. And then we also learn about the financial services industry, insurance, financial advising, wealth management, and basically how to sell that and how to really find the value for your customers in those one-on-one conversations. And we get to learn about business plans and the business behind State Farm as well, because he is from State Farm, so he gets to give us a lot of insight about the company and about that industry. And then last but not least is the key account selling class. And Rod mentioned in the chat that a unique thing about this class is that the students, I don't know if you've ever seen or heard that the program has corporate partners, right? That's where we get the that job placement statistic is because there's partners specifically for the program. And this class is where students are actually the ones to go not only get the partnerships, but the ones that manage them as well. So just as you can see here, these companies, each one of these companies has a student that either manages it or brought it in the semester before, or whatever semester it was that they were brought in. So you are the main contact as a student of that account. By the way, the class is only 20 students. There usually are about 30 to 40 applicants depending on the semester, but it is a class where you apply, you interview, and if you get in, you get to manage one of these partners. And it's taught by Professor John Pingle, amazing professor. And you get to learn about the in-depth strategies behind managing a really important account, which they call a key account. And then also you get to, as a student, you get to help connect the other students to jobs, because you are the main contact for that account. You are talking directly to the people in that company, and they are telling you, look, we need students to hire. You come back to the program and you're the one that actually goes and talks to students and says, hey, do you need a job? All right, well, I got this company looking for some people to hire or for some internships. Come to me if you have any questions. And you're putting a team in the class. And as I mentioned earlier, my team, when I was in the class, for instance, amazing. It was like probably the best experience I've had in PES, aside from the golf tournament. And then Professor John Pingle, if you ever get to meet him, one of the first things he'll tell you about is sliding $100,000 contracts across the table. It's almost guaranteed he'll tell you that either in the first or second interaction. But it's really amazing. Some of these partnerships can get up to hundreds of thousands of dollars, and students are the ones that are signing these partners. So this class was a big reason of why I joined PES. It was an amazing experience. Definitely recommend if you guys get in to look into it. And yeah, those 3 classes are a part of the advanced electives of PES.
So those of us who are actually on staff and on a call, we actually all took this class. So when I was a student, I managed BMC software. As like, that was my baby, that was my account. Everything I did was eat, drink, sleep, dream of BMC. James, Myrod, which ones were your accounts? And how much was your, I guess, team quota? I graduated a while ago, so I forgot mine, but I'm sure you guys remember yours.
Sure,
I think, go Rod.
Oh, sure. My personal accounts were Verizon and Hilti. Verizon used to be a partner, but Hilti was a pretty cool partner. We were able to visit their headquarters in Dallas, so we were able to see their like 20-story main building, which was really cool. Like they pretty much designed. They had like a Swedish designer, but pretty much make the showrooms for their equipment, which was pretty cool. And Hilti was a renewal account for us, so it was really exhilarating to know that students shape the relationships with the partners in the institute. Like what Yara said, like sliding the $10,000 to $100,000 contract to an executive for them and expecting them to sign. That was doing that and while in college was a really fun experience, and it was my adrenaline was pumping that day because it's the students that also shape pretty much everything. So the key account students before us, they pretty much shaped these relationships. So at a certain point, 10, 15 years ago, Hilti was a prospect. They were not a partner yet. So now that this has happened, the same thing goes with every other partner. As like what James had said, like a student prospected these companies, and another student in the next key account class was able to close them or sign them as a partner.
Definitely. Yeah. And for me, I personally had Delta as my main account, but I also helped. As a team, we were very fortunate to have gotten the opportunity to sign the company's UiPath and VMware. I think our quota was $22,000, about $23,000. And this is the key account class, Ryan. So that last class that you see on the very right of the 6, I guess in red. And yeah, just like Rob was saying, there was as a college student, we got to manage these. Oh yes, right. Sorry, I'm looking at it over here. But as a college student, I think there's nowhere else in the country, or I don't know if there is in the world, where you can find a class like this. Just the experience alone was I feel like it's way beyond what usual college education can give you. So those were the partners that I had personally.
So I know James is being modest, but come on, weren't you guys top team? So James and his team was top team last semester. So that was awesome for him. But my accounts were Schlumberger and Verizon, but they're no longer a partner. And I was able to prospect a new account for us, which is Johnson & Johnson. So now I was able to give that account to the now current KA team and I'm able to help them up a little bit, like just kind of answer any questions they have on that prospect. So it's really a fun class. And also, our quota was the highest one in our class. It was 111,000. And so that was really tough because during a pandemic, can you imagine asking for that much money? But we were close to quota, and we always like talking about our achievements. So last semester we were able to actually close on $100,000.
And so, I mean, it is like they've said, this is meant to be a representation of the accounts that our students want to work for, that our students get to service every day. And this is just the beginning of our relationships and the opportunities that we have to help line students up to get a job. But at the end of the day, these companies don't just pay so we can show their logos at the info sessions. These companies pay really good money to recruit our students because this is the top sales program in the nation, and this is the best quality of students that they find out there. And we, to be quite honest, we charge these companies more than other universities do. And look at the ones that choose to pay with us, and join us. And this is a very elite group. We have a long waiting list every semester of companies who want to be partners, but we highly vet them. And if James and Rod don't want to work there, then they probably won't be here long, because we are going to filter and upgrade and continue to improve this list every semester. So right now we've got 34 partners, and the sweet spot for us is anywhere between 30 to 37. And so we kind of fluctuate there depending on the industry, what's really hot right now for you guys, to give you guys those relationships and to get you guys the jobs of your dreams. Now, I'm going to stay on this slide, but I'm going to talk a little bit about how this benefits you. So we've got these partners, and every single week you will get to engage with anywhere from 2 to 4 of these partners. They will be attending your classes. One day when we're more back to normal, we will be hosting partner luncheons, where it's really just you eat lunch, they present, they tell you about the company, you get to do a Q&A. And then there are some more intimate settings where instead of the all 130 of you, there are some round tables where it's 20 to 30 students with the leadership from these organizations, and they get to know you a little bit better, give you a little more information about the actual positions that are available, what the application and entry process looks like. And then if you're sold after getting to know those companies a little better, maybe you like their culture, their compensation, if you like the idea of getting out of Houston, or if you like the idea of staying in Houston, then we have interview dates that are just available to PES students, right? And so if you're graduating in spring of 2022 and you tell us, hey, I like tech, well, great. You now have key account students who represent Dell EMC, who represent Salesforce.com, Gartner, and they are going to be there to help line you up with these partners, set you up for interviews, and help you essentially get a job. Now, we have an entire corporate relations team, right? So there's Rockwell for all of Bauer students, and there's Career Center for all of the University of Houston students. And then we have our own career services kind of team. But John Pingle, whose name you've heard a couple times, and Evelyn Hidalgo and her APM, MD Akil, they are here to manage the key account students, to be educated on the positions that these companies are hiring for, and to pair you up to help you get the job. And if these aren't the companies you want to work for, that's no problem. And if these aren't the companies that you want to do sales for, that's no problem. Regardless, we are committed to helping you get the job. And that's why we're really proud to, as I think Maya mentioned it earlier, to tout that we have 98% job placement. And if you want to go into sales, great, we've got the connections. If you don't, great, we've got the connections. And our faculty, you know, they're not just the professors who've been here teaching for a while and they did research, like they've actually been out in the industry. And so class is a lot more discussion based, and we're giving you guys that feedback so you can take this and get a job. So if you want to interview with 20 partners, by all means. Our job is to help you get a job. And between now and graduation, our job is to also help you get part-time and internship positions, which are all things that we're really excited and eager to be able to do. 3M, for instance, has a really robust, really fun internship, and people come back all the time just raving about how great it is. Gartner has a great internship, and you can go out to Dallas for this summer. 3M, you could be placed anywhere around the country. So it looks like, Jose, you look interested in Invesco and AIG. So yeah, so if you're interested in financial services, whether you're a finance student or not, we've got great partners and great relationships and great alumni that you get to use and kind of tap into as you go through this process. Any questions about the partners and how to get engaged with them? Okay, well, great. Going to talk a little.
I do have a question, not about exactly the partners, but for the key accounts class, I know that y'all mentioned that you do have to engage these companies and prospect them. So my question is, like, how do you go about prospecting them? And then I know that y'all mentioned y'all have different quotas. So what is the go with the quota? Like, what are you really selling to them? Are there levels to it? So yeah, that's the kind of my questions for that.
Sure. Do any one of you want to take it?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead, Rob.
Sure. So if you look at the screen here, there's 3 levels of partnerships. So there's strategic, institute, and program. So the levels vary all the way from 10 grand to 25,000 to 100,000+ for strategic. And it doesn't necessarily have to be just straight up cash. It could also be of monetary value. So some of our partners we're partnered with them with like certain trade-offs. Like, for example, with Salesforce, their institute partner, they've given us the license to utilize Salesforce for our class. Believe also Delta and Club Corp also have like similar level partnerships where they give us perks, and in hand they're able to recruit our students. So your quota is like, for example, my class, my team quota was $31,800. We were able to hit that. I think we hit like 43,000 something. So we were pretty close to, I think we got second or third in our key account class. But the quota is based on renewing the partnerships, as well as keeping the students engaged, as well as making sure that the partners are also engaged through the CRM, SM, and first and second semester classes as well. So you could sell them sponsorships with our golf tournament, or any other upsells like job postings through our career fair. Or if they do need executive training, depending on their level, they could also sign up for SLC seats, our selling leadership certification, for about $5 grand. And I believe with partners, it's discounted. So those are kind of like what the products that we offer to sell to partners.
Yeah, and actually, so exactly like Rod said, so recruiting you guys is a big part of what we do. We also sell these organizations custom research that we can do based on specific issues that they're experiencing, and the executive education. And actually, interestingly enough, if I remember the number correctly, our single largest transaction with any one company, especially in the key account selling class, came when a key account student identified that Mattress Firm had a training need, and they closed Mattress Firm on a $287,000 executive education deal because they asked the right questions, and they are now in a long-term training program with us that renews every so often. And that's outside of their need to recruit our students. So,
wow, this sounds great.
Yeah, to be an undergraduate student doing this is so rare. In fact, that whenever Dean Pavlou joined us last year, we had to actually take a step back and be like, hey, so we know that a large part of what you do is to fundraise for the university. We just want to let you know that we know you have a whole department that does that, but we do this, and trust us, the students do incredibly well here. And so he's bought in. And so for the last couple semesters now, he's seen, wow, these students can fundraise a lot of money. And our quotas in this class can range from $200,000 to $500,000 plus every semester. So it's very rare to see this because not everyone has the support of the dean and the support of the college the way that we do, which is something we are very proud to shout from the rooftops. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your responses.
You're welcome. Any other questions on that before we talk about making some money?
Okay, here we go. So show of hands really quickly. Who knew that you could make a little money in the program? Yeah, show of hands if you didn't know. Okay, yeah, so yeah, I mean, one of the biggest things about PES, one of the greatest things about it is that there's such a good opportunity for scholarships, and you know, you get to actually make some money and learn this stuff, and you know, get all this incredible experience along with it. So it's, for instance, in 2019, 150 students got $250,000 in scholarships. So that's an average of about $1,600 per student, which you're taking classes and you're getting $1,600 for sure. And this is all thanks to, I don't know if you guys have seen the name of the institute, Steven Stagner, who used to be the CEO of Mattress Firm. He's been one of our biggest contributors. He's got his name on the institute. So yeah, every single student who gets a B- or above in the first semester classes gets $1,000. So just from passing your first semester with a B-. Of course, we want you guys to get more than that, but you get $1,000. Like, come on. And then thanks to the Gessners, the Andy and Barbara Gessner, who are, you know, amazing people, they provide the excellence awards for the top producing students like Rod, who was a absolute killer in sales. And for each of these class projects, the top producers and the top excellence students with scholarships for those achievements. So, you know, you can win multiple of them too. So it can rack up pretty quick. My teammate MD Akil, who's now the corporate APM, was also another one of those very special few like Rod that you see that can get as many of those scholarships. And so the single largest one that we give out is actually based on, it's called the Most Improved. So it's the student who, from the beginning of their PES journey to the end of it, and that could be 3 semesters, it could be 2 semesters, or it could be 3 semesters, had the most improvement and really grew as much as they, you know, as possible in the program, and really outshined their from when they got in originally, and that's $5,000. So that award is, it's kind of very, it just depends, but at the end of the day, anybody can get it, and you know, it's $5,000, so it's a great opportunity to, you know, really go after those goals that you have once you get in the program, and really just kind of sharpen yourself. And so, like, for instance, we also have scholarships in each of these class projects that I mentioned. So for instance, CRM, we sell the PES Open, and we have the top producer, the top gun, and the now top pro awards. So the top producer is the student who sells the most revenue. So we have products that with the golf tournament, and the student who sells the most dollar values. That's the student that gets the top producer award. And then there's the top gun who sells the most players, and the top pro who sells the second most dollar amounts. So really quickly, go ahead, everybody put in the chat or raise your hand who seems like they'd be interested in making some money. Yeah, definitely, definitely.
If you say no, that's kind of like saying when you go shopping, you sort high to low. You know what I mean? Right? Like, who says no to making money and scholarships? And that's not something that even existed when I was around as a student doing PES. And it's something that Professor Randy Webb, as our executive director, has decided like that is something that he wants to be part of, the legacy that he leaves behind. And it is to provide everyone scholarships and to make college just that much more accessible to all of our students. So I am very proud to say that he's done an incredible job there. And I'm incredibly jealous because when we were students, we thought, oh, hey, we'll do PES. It seems fun to do all this work and to be so rewarded and to get a job later. It would have been even sweeter if we could have said, and we're going to make at least $1,000 and a whole bunch of other scholarship opportunities along the way. So money is something that's definitely available to you. And I have this joke, sometimes it lands, sometimes it doesn't. But just because you can pay full price for college doesn't mean you should. And so I think there's a lot of great opportunities as students at U of H that you can take advantage of. This is one of the many ones where you're going to get paid to do it. Okay, we've had a lot of questions about applications and we're coming up on the final 10 minutes of our time here together. So I want to break it down for you guys, and I think it would probably be useful if I actually just took us to the application and showed us so that we can walk through it together really briefly. But let me open it up here. If you navigate to our website, you may have already been here to sign up for the info sessions, or this may be your first time here, but it's bauer.uh.edu/SCI, and you can click Apply to PES Now. Here you'll see a little bit of a breakdown on the steps, but before we do that, an important reminder that the deadline is Sunday, November 15th at midnight, which is my dad's birthday. So on my dad's birthday, I will be refreshing to see which one of you lovelies has applied to PES. And there are 2 parts, and those 2 parts need to be completed by midnight on the 15th. So step 1 is to complete the below form. So it's really pretty straightforward, no essay questions or anything like that, but we do want to know who your 3337 professor is, want to know a little bit about you, and then upload a photo, resume, transcript, and if you did transfer from another university, we want to get that one included here as well. So submit this form, and then once you're done with step 1, you can come and complete step 2, which is a video application where we will ask you 2 questions, and those questions you will have 2 attempts to record your video. All in all, it shouldn't take you more than about 10 minutes to do, but you can watch this little video on the What Can I Expect link to understand what the process looks like and what the platform looks like. And that system is really quite simple to use. Just make sure you read all the prompts. And then when you're ready, you can click here to record your responses. So you sign up for the system, record your 2 answers, and then we will, over the course of the coming months, be reviewing those video applications and then extend an invitation to select students to complete a face-to-face or virtual interview. It'll be a 30-minute interview where we just kind of get to know you a bit better. And we're really eager to identify students, like James said, who are coachable, motivated, have a lot of energy. And those are the students who tend to do well here. Because like you said, we can teach you how to sell. We can teach you how to do great interviews. But that energy, enthusiasm, and excitement has to come from you and from, you know, your driving force, whether that's your goals, your family, whatever that might be. So the applications are due November 15th. If you want to get ahead of the game and apply early, great. I love it. That gives me a great idea of you know, who's interested in joining PES. But just take some time to complete the application. But before you do that, do stuff like attending the info sessions, come back to, you know, our website. There's some great information under undergraduate. Did some big updates to the site so that you guys can have a better idea of what we can offer you. So take a look around. Always feel free to let myself, James, Rod, anyone of the rest of our team know what questions you have. We've got some FAQs here, some statistics on our students. So that is the application process. Has that answered the questions that some of you have had? And do you have any other questions?
Yes. When you had mentioned the 3-day time frame, what exactly did you mean with that?
Yeah, so once you click here to record your responses and sign up, you will get 3 days to complete to essentially record your video responses. And then if you haven't done it by then, just let me know and I can extend that time a little bit for you. The system just required me to put a date in there. But so long as you get those done by November 15th, we're in good shape. Okay,
I've already,
so,
oh, I'm sorry.
no, go ahead, John.
So I've already done both of them. It was just whenever I finished it, it may have been saying that, but I completed it on the 18th, and it was saying that something would expire on the 28th.
Fascinating. Forward it to me. Let's take a look together and confirm that everything looks good on my end as well.
Okay.
Anyone else have any questions about applying?
I have a question.
Yeah, Eric.
So if like when would we know like if we're in the program like after we apply, and if we do apply early, will we get an early response back?
So typically we will begin interviewing the week before the deadline, just so that we can kind of work our way through the list. Typically we will have anywhere from 100 to 130 students apply in a given semester, and we will accept up to 70 of the students who, you know, bring the best energy, done the most research. So because it's such a big group and we want to make sure to give everyone adequate time to review the applications and then go through the interview process, we'll typically start the week before the deadline and then go for probably 2 weeks after. So you can expect by the first week of December to know. And what I tell a lot of students is enroll for classes business as usual. But all of our classes are Mondays and Wednesdays, pretty much all day, especially for your first semester. So just be ready to drop the classes that you will no longer be interested in taking if and when you get accepted into PES. But don't want you to get screwed on enrollment, because I think enrollment time is right before the deadline.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Okay, well then in our final minute or two here, I would love to see in the chat or unmute yourself, who is planning to apply this semester to join the program?
Me.
Ooh, love to hear it. Is there anyone who, and I would love for you to tell me a little bit about it, but is there anyone who came in and was skeptical and maybe felt like they needed some convincing, but then after today they were like, okay, I think I'm gonna do it? And if so, what was it that kind of swayed you? Great, so everyone already knew they were applying before they came here? Yeah, I love it. Love to hear it. Okay, well, good. Well, I thank you all very much for you taking the time out of your busy schedules, your busy virtual schedules, to spend some time with us today. And if you have any questions whatsoever, I'm dropping my email into the chat, and I would love to set some time to meet with you guys individually or answer your questions via email, so that you feel prepared and as excited as we are that you are entering into the entire application process with us. And again, thank you so much for giving us your time and your evening, and wish you all the best. If anyone has any questions, you're welcome to hang back for a few minutes and I'll be around to answer them for you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye, guys and gals.
Thank you. I have
Bye,
a
guys.
quick question.
Yes, Ariana.
Can we submit an unofficial transcript, or we have to request an official transcript?
No, yes, by all means, unofficial. Don't pay that $10 for me.
Oh, okay,
not worth it. Yeah.
Okay, so when I applied, I actually, I thought it had to be official, so I didn't include one from Lone Star, or actually I think, so I transferred from 2 different universities or colleges.
Okay. Just your most recent one before would have been sufficient, but you can email me what you have and I will put it in, I'll tack it onto your application.
Okay, so I put U of H for the current transcript, and then I put UNT because that was my first university.
Okay. Yeah. Send over what you got. We'll take a look. And we'll always communicate with you guys if there's anything more we need to just kind of round out the application.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks for stopping by, John.
Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye. Have a good one.
You as well.
Got any other questions for us, John? No? Okay.
I'm sorry.
Bye. No, you're good.
It was nice
You're
meeting you.
good.
Yeah.
Don't
Nice
mind.
meeting
I'm
y'all
hanging
too.
out. You're hanging out.
Yeah, I normally like to sit and listen to the other questions as well.
Yes. Well,
Very good idea.
I guess we answered them all.
Okay, well, I'll see y'all.
Okay. Bye. Have a wonderful day.
You too.